Hi, beautiful. Welcome back to my channel where we are rebelling, recovering, and raising merry hell.
I'm over being scared, let them talk and let them stare. Go tell them that my time is now.
Today, I haven't been able to record this in the morning when everybody's in bed, so you may hear some background noise, which is all good. It's just the normal household fun that is going on with the cat needing feeding and the youngest doing arts and crafts. I wanted to just talk today a little bit about the realities of raising neurodivergent children, being neurodivergent yourself, and how that can look. Because I think people that are neurotypical perhaps don't have an understanding of how that really looks for us as a family. I grew up not realizing that I was ADHD, and my mum, who I'm sure she won't mind saying, believes she's autistic. So we grew up in a household that was clearly neurodivergent, but didn't realize it was. And I think that's why my son's diagnosis was never, quote unquote, an issue. Because when I was going through his assessment, the lady was asking me all sorts of questions about, do you have like weird words that he uses and things like that? And the one that came to mind at the time was apocalypticizing. Now, to me, as a grammar nerd, that is just fun with words. But apparently, that's something that isn't that, you know, regularly seen. There were other things about how I dealt with when he became overwhelmed with something. And because I was raised the way I was, I responded by being empathetic towards it and adjusting our household routine to him already. I didn't realize for many, many years that I was actually helping him without realizing. So I think it's really interesting when our children get diagnosed, and we quite often then discover that we are neurodivergent as well. The journey for many can be quite an awakening. Definitely been an awakening for me. The last few years in particular have taken me from just mum to therapist, detective, professional in many, many different spheres that I never knew I was going to have to be a professional in, quote unquote. And I've learned so much about myself, and it's unearthed a lot of stuff from my past as well. For instance, obviously I've spoken about being obsessive compulsive, and now I'm beginning to realize, even now I'm still going through it, that actually I think it was undiagnosed ADHD, all of that. I think all of it, and I wouldn't be surprised, I don't know for certain, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm autistic as well. Because when I started looking into everything for my son, it was all hitting a bit close to home, to be honest, and made me see myself in a brand new light. So this whole life journey of raising children is crazy. Raising neurodivergent children or otherwise disabled, a myriad of things going on with people in this world, and it all leads to needs in different ways. It's a ride for sure. It's full of love, it's chaotic, and it's unshakable belief in yourself that is needed to get through it, and belief in your kids as well. Because it all starts when you realize that you perhaps can't trust the professionals. Now, as a ADHD, possibly autistic person, I question everything. I always go out into the world trusting, because that's just who I am as a person. But once you've broken the trust, you're done. The expert advice that we get from therapists, teachers, GPs, educational psychologists, and all these different things it very much depends on who the person is that you are talking to. But my understanding now of figuring it all out is, if you either aren't neurodivergent yourself or have a neurodivergent kid and you are positively embracing that, then I don't want to hear your opinion. And that might sound really harsh, but that would be, it's like with my OCD, right? When I was in the psych hospital, the one nurse that I really connected with had OCD really badly growing up and had moved through it. You know, she was open to it to the point that she was allowed to be open about what had happened to her. But because of the way that she spoke to me, I knew she knew. I knew she got it. So therefore, I, listened to her. And unfortunately, my experience of professionals has not been great. There's only been a couple along the way that actually know what it really feels like. And then there's been a couple along the way that maybe they don't know how it feels, but they try really freaking hard to understand and empathize. And that counts as well. So it's all about the attitude, isn't it? But for me, it stays with, don't be telling me that my child is broken. That is not the problem. The system's the problem. In all honesty, I think that the magic happens when you trust yourself and how you know your own child. That brought so much strength to me after all the years of gaslighting, of following what they wanted me to do, of jumping through XYZ hoops, and them never jumping through the hoops that they said they were going to jump through. So the trust was broken. But the trust I had in myself, I could build back up again. And as for the expert advice, I'm pretty sure we all realise that kids don't come with a manual. The neurodivergent kids don't either. None of us come with a manual. And if any of us came with a manual, it would be wrong for everybody else because we're all completely different. Everybody. You don't know autistic people because you know one autistic person, because we're all freaking different. So if they're talking textbook stuff to you, then, well, it's not the truth, is it? In fact, it's less than useless. What I did moving forward was what us women are really good at, which is being detectives. You see the things on YouTube of like women delving into the past of said men and finding out where they're from and where their job is, and right, you see it a lot on Twitter, X, whatever. But as women are really good at being detectives, and we can dig deep. So that's what I did. I got into Facebook groups, and just lots of Googling, many sleepless nights spent looking and reading and learning. And I would say the most valuable stuff I found was from, funnily enough, actually autistic people, because they've lived it. And yeah, they're all different, but there are themes that run through. So thanks to that fabulous Facebook group, which I will actually link below. It's called Autism Inclusivity. And it may not be for the faint of heart. I know that a lot of parents find it, I suppose they find it confrontational, but what I actually see is honesty. And what I also see is adults that have been traumatized and are trying to right those wrongs for the future generation. So you may not necessarily enjoy it in there, but I can tell you that you will learn, and you'll learn fast, how to help your kid. I genuinely can't say enough for that group helping me. And then there was other Facebook groups that I've joined as well along the way. And another shout out would definitely go to the Not Fine in School Facebook group. Again, I will link that below, because that is where I learned the laws around education and different, just again, knowing that I wasn't alone, understanding different ways that people were helping their kids. So if Facebook isn't your thing, there are communities on Instagram and TikTok and Reddit and all the likes. I'm sure you can find your people and really go out there and listen. You can ask questions and look for the answers. Be okay with the answers being not what you want them to be, because that's where the growth happens. So it really is an adventure finding out that your kids are neurodivergent and that you are neurodivergent too. It's been an uphill battle, and it's been a absolutely magical ride as well. It sounds a bit of a contradiction because it has felt really scary at points, but it ultimately has led to growth, to me growing as a person and understanding myself and being able to be the mum that my kids need for each of them, because both of my kids are completely different as well, funnily enough. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say. Just look to the power of community. We are stronger together, takes a village and all that jazz. So come join my community and subscribe. Let me know down below if you've got any recommendations for cool Facebook groups or hashtags and things on Instagram, TikTok we can look at, and share your knowledge, because that's what's helped me, and let's keep pushing it forward. All right. Thanks so much for being here. I will see you tomorrow.
Time's up. Go and tell 'em all.
Saturn, come through. Come on then.